Take a deep breath. Close your eyes for just a moment. Can you feel it? That hum beneath the surface, the low buzz of anticipation without event, the weight of thoughts circling like birds at dusk? You're not overthinking. You're undersoothed. What if I told you there's a vine, wild, unassuming, often growing along fence lines and forgotten roadsides, that has quietly helped generations soften the edges of anxiety? Without fog, without dependence, without the crash. This is Passionflower. Passiflora incarnata. Not a sedative. Not a shutdown. But a gentle recalibration, a botanical whisper to your overstimulated nervous system. You may rest now. In the next 15 minutes, you'll discover how this ancient nervine supports natural calm, not by silencing your mind, but by helping it remember how to settle. How it works with your GABA pathways like a trusted friend lowering the volume on alarm bells. How people, from Cherokee healers to modern sleep clinics in California, have turned to it not as a fix, but as a ritual of return. So go ahead. Take a slow breath in. Let your shoulders soften. And as the lo-fi rhythm pulses below, like a heartbeat beneath soil, let yourself lean in. This isn't about escaping your day. It's about reclaiming your baseline. Let's begin. Long before laboratories measured neurotransmitters, people listened to wind, to roots, to silence. And few plants spoke as tenderly to the trembling spirit as passionflower. Native to the southeastern woodlands of what is now the United States, the Cherokee called it okra, the vine that eases the spirit. They used it not for panic, but for nervous exhaustion, the kind that settles in the bones after too many nights awake, too many worries carried alone. They'd prepare it as a tea before council meetings, not to dull the mind, but to clear the static so wisdom could rise. Spanish missionaries in the 1500s, struck by its otherworldly bloom, the crown-like filaments, the three stigmas like nails, named it Flor de los Cinco Llagas, flower of the five wounds. To them, it was a symbol of sacred suffering. But indigenous peoples had already known, this wasn't a flower of pain. It was a flower of release. Imagine an elder's hands, rough from sun and soil, gently harvesting vines at twilight, just as the first fireflies rise. No rush. No extraction. A quiet exchange. I take only what I need. I give thanks as I go. Passionflower doesn't command calm. It invites it, like dusk inviting stars. It grows wild, yes, but only where the earth is undisturbed. A reminder, deep calm too requires safety, space, permission. Even its Latin name, Passiflora incarnata, carries layered meaning: passio, suffering, floss, flower. But incarnata means made flesh, embodied. As if the plant itself became compassion rendered visible, a living balm for embodied stress. In Ayurvedic-influenced folk traditions of the Caribbean, it was woven into dream pillows for children with night terrors, trusted not for force, but for presence. And in Appalachian folk medicine, it was called maypop for the soft pop of its fruit, echoing the sound of tension finally releasing. A tiny, edible surrender. Modern science is now catching up to that ancestral knowing, quietly, rigorously. A 2017 double-blind, randomized controlled trial published in Phytotherapy Research compared passionflower extract to oxazepam, a benzodiazepine-like drug, in patients with generalized anxiety disorder. Both groups improved significantly, but the passionflower group reported no impairment in job performance and no morning grogginess. Crucially, they also showed no rebound anxiety after stopping, unlike the pharmaceutical group. Why? Researchers point to Passionflower's unique synergy. Harmala alkaloids, like harmine, gently inhibit monoamine oxidase, helping serotonin and dopamine remain available, not spiking them, but supporting balance. Flavonoids, especially chrysin and apigenin, bind to GABA receptors, much like benzodiazepines do, but selectively. They don't flood the system. They modulate it, like tuning a radio, not turning the dial to max, and GABA itself is present in measurable amounts in the leaves, rare for a plant. Think of it as nature's own neurotransmitter delivery system. A 2021 study at Emory University found that participants who drank Passionflower tea 30 minutes before a stressful cognitive task showed significantly lower cortisol and heart rate variability spikes than the placebo group. Their bodies remembered how to stay steady. Important note: studies consistently use Passiflora incarnata, the North American species, not the ornamental pea, Carelia, or fruiting pea, Edulis. Precision matters. This isn't folklore. It's phytochemistry rooted in place. And unlike synthetics, Passionflower doesn't override your nervous system. It listens to it, supporting, never silencing. Newer research is even exploring its role in sleep architecture. A 2023 pilot at the University of Arizona used polysomnography to show that Passionflower increased stage 2 NREM sleep, the restorative light sleep crucial for memory consolidation and emotional regulation, without suppressing REM. That's key. It doesn't knock you out. It helps you drift, then deepen, naturally. Think of it as a midwife for sleep, not a sedative, but a guardian of transition. Let's return yam to its ritual, not as performance, but as presence. In Yoruba kitchens, yam is never peeled in haste. The knife moves slowly. The water is warm, not hot, to preserve enzymes. And before boiling, a pinch of unrefined sea salt is added, not just for taste, but as blessing. Salt as purification, as boundary, as memory of the ocean that carried ancestors. Here's how to prepare it with intention. Choose firm, unblemished tubers, skin dark brown, flesh white or pale purple. Scrub, don't peel if possible. The skin holds fiber and antioxidants. Cut into even chunks. Place in cold water with a squeeze of lemon to prevent oxidation, and a cinnamon stick. Its warming sweetness harmonizes yam's earthiness. Bring to a gentle simmer. Let it cook 20 to 25 minutes, until tender, but not mushy. A fork should meet resistance, then yield. Now, the sacred pause. Let it rest, off heat, for 10 minutes. Not just because residual heat finishes the cooking, but because your soul needs that pause too. Serve warm in a wooden or ceramic bowl. A drizzle of raw honey. A sprinkle of toasted sesame seeds for grounding minerals, zinc, magnesium, selenium. Eat slowly. Feel the starch coat your stomach like a soft blanket. Notice how the warmth spreads, not upward like caffeine, but downward, into your pelvis, your legs, your feet. In rural Benin, elders teach that the sound of yam cooking matters. A steady, low bubble, not a rolling boil. Too vigorous, and the spirit escapes. Too quiet, and the energy stagnates. It's a lesson in rhythm. Life thrives not in extremes, but in steady, sustainable pulse. Some families stir counterclockwise the first 3 times, honoring the moon's waning phase, releasing what no longer serves. The 4th stir is clockwise, inviting renewal. You don't need to adopt the gesture, just notice how you move shapes what you receive. This is embodiment. Each bite says, I am here. I am fed. I am held, not as escape, but as return. Passionflower is gentle, but nature's gentleness still demands respect. Contraindications: avoid during pregnancy, unless under clinical herbalist or OB/GYN supervision. It may stimulate uterine tone. Use caution if you're on SSRIs, MAIs, or benzodiazepines. Though studies show low risk of interaction, individual responses vary. Always consult your provider. Avoid before surgery, may enhance anesthesia effects. Side effects are rare, but possible: mild drowsiness, especially at higher doses, or very rarely dizziness. Start low. Observe. Honor your body's feedback. Now, synergy. Passionflower shines in collaboration with lemon balm. Melissa Officinalis, a 2020 UPenn pilot study, found this duo significantly improved sleep onset and quality in adults with mild insomnia, more than either herb alone. Lemon balm calms the mind, passionflower calms the body. Together, they're a duet. With milky oats, avena sativa for when anxiety lives in the nerves, tingling, restless, wired but tired. Milky oats rebuild, passionflower settles. Avoid heavy combinations with kava or valerian unless guided. Too much GABA modulation can tip into lethargy. Remember, nature is powerful. Honor her strength with respect. This isn't natural equals risk-free. It's natural equals requires wisdom. A subtle but vital note: passionflower's effects deepen with regular, low-dose use, not occasional high doses. Think of it as tonifying the nervous system, like strengthening a muscle over time. One study in Journal of Ethnopharmacology observed that participants using 45 drops of standardized extract daily for 14 days reported cumulative calm, peaking around day 10, whereas single high doses offered only fleeting relief. That's the difference between sedation and resilience. And while fresh passionflower is stunning, dried aerial parts are preferred medicinally. Drying converts certain glycosides into more bioavailable forms. Always source from reputable suppliers who test for Passiflora incarnata purity. Adulteration with less active species is common in unregulated markets. Disclaimer: a gentle reminder, this content is for educational purposes only. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. Passionflower is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare provider before using any herbal remedy, especially if you are pregnant, nursing, taking medication, or managing a health condition. Let the mug rest in your hands. Feel its warmth. Not hot, not cool, just right, like sunlight through a window in late afternoon. Now close your eyes. Breathe in, deeply, through your nose. Let the air fill your belly, not your chest. Let it rise, and sigh it out, through parted lips, again in and out. Imagine you're sitting beneath a passionflower vine, twisting, climbing, blooming in the soft light of dusk. The air is still, humid, alive. You reach up, fingers brushing a tendril, cool and supple. A single bloom opens beside you, purple-white crown, golden center, intricate, serene. With your next inhale, imagine drawing in that calm, not as a force but as a presence. It flows down your arms, into your shoulders, where tension has gathered, like stones in a pocket. Feel them lighten, soften, not vanish. Just set down. Your breath slows, your jaw unclenches, your forehead smooths. There's no demand here. No should. Just allowing. Like watching ripples fade on a pond after a stone has sunk. Feel the GABA pathways in your brain, not as wires but as quiet streams, and Passionflower, the gentle hand that stills the surface. No suppression, no numbness, just space. Between thoughts, between heartbeats, a softening a return. Now bring gentle attention to your feet, resting on the floor or curled beneath you. Feel their weight, their contact. Let them root, like the vine's tendrils gripping the earth, not rigidly, but with quiet confidence. With each exhale, imagine a soft green-gold light, like filtered sunset through leaves, spreading from your core outward, warming your ribs, your throat, the space behind your eyes, dissolving the static, not the self. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are simply human. And this plant has known humans, fragile, brilliant, trembling, for centuries. It doesn't ask you to be more. It helps you remember how to be here. Stay here as long as you need. The vine holds you. The breath holds you. You are safe. In this moment. In this breath. In this quiet. So, Passionflower is not Xanax. It doesn't override. It attunes. It doesn't crash. It carries. A quiet ally for the modern nervous system, overloaded, under-resourced, longing for rhythm. Its gift isn't oblivion. It's clarity through calm. The kind that lets you hear your own intuition again. If this vine spoke, it might say, I do not erase the storm. I help you find the I within it. And if Passionflower brought you peace tonight, wait until you meet lavender, the silence that healed kings and queens. In our next ritual, we'll explore how Lavandula angustifolia became Europe's royal nervine, and why modern neuroscience now calls it olfactory GABA. If this moment served you, share it with someone who's been holding their breath too long. Leave a comment below. What did you feel? A softening? A sigh you'd forgotten how to take? We read every one. And if you're ready for more quiet revolutions, subscribe. Because healing doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it blooms in the margins, twists along the fence line, waits patiently for you to pause and listen. May the spirit of this plant wrap around you like a blanket woven from moonlight and stillness. You are held, you are returning, and you are never alone. Sound of Herbs, where science meets soul, and every plant has a story.